Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another one of my Napoleon Total War tournament battles. We are just about done round one. We have two more series of battles to take a look at before we move on to round two. And in today's series of battles, we're going to take a look at Your Total War Master versus CEVIX. So I hope you guys do enjoy, and without further ado, let's take a look at their battles. Alright guys, welcome to the first battle between CEVIX and Your Total War Master, and CEVIX is playing as the United Kingdom, and he's quickly moving up his 6-pounder horse artillery into range, and he's following it closely behind with a unit of dragoons. The rest of his force is very small, but it's because he picked a lot of elite infantry. You can see on the flanks he's got one unit of rifles, so one on either flank totaling 2. And then he actually has 2 units of foot guards, which is, I believe, the best infantry that Great Britain can field. And in the center, he has 4 units of foot with a 5-inch howitzer and then the general's bodyguard in behind. So that pretty much wraps up his force. Looking over at Your Total War Master's force, it's much larger, composing of cheaper infantry, but hopefully the numbers will be able to help him in today's battle. He does have 2 units of lancers here and his general's bodyguard, so he does outnumber the cavalry of the United Kingdom. And then he has a 6-pounder foot artillery over here, and I believe that's the only cannon he has brought. And then we've got 2 units of Prussian Fusiliers over here on the flanks, and then a ton of musketeers. I believe 8 units of them, all down the center. And then right on the other wing, he's got another 2 units of Prussian Fusiliers. So a lot of line infantry for Prussia. But although Great Britain is a lot smaller of a force, they do have a lot more elite infantry, as I've said. So toe-to-toe, the foot and the foot guard would definitely beat the musketeers in a firefight, and also in melee. But CEVIX over here has his 1 unit of dragoons to protect his cannon. And it looks like he is getting some early shots off on the musketeers and the fusiliers. Couple of kills there. Nothing too major, though. But Your Total War Master is actually pulling back his men. I don't think he'll ever be able to outrange the cannon, though. So he's probably going to have to push forwards very soon to at least eliminate that. What I noticed right off the bat is that this is actually pretty poorly defended, even though he does have the 1 unit of dragoons. If he brings his cavalry... Oh, he's already bringing his cavalry over. Perfect. Yeah, so these 2 units of lancers, if he charges the one into the dragoons and swings the other one around and hits the horse artillery, it will be gone. And I think CEVIX realizes this, and he's limbering up the cannons to try and get them out of there. We do have the dragoons that are maybe going to move in to intercept the lancers. Yes, that's exactly what they're going to do. Now, the lancer cavalry will be really good on the charge. The dragoons, I think, are really solid in melee, though, so it'll be interesting to see which way this does go. Ooh, good charge from the heavy lancers, but yeah, so he is flanking this one around. Oh, interestingly, he's going to go into the back of the dragoons themselves. I would have tried to maybe catch the horse artillery, but it is pretty quick, so maybe he figured that he wouldn't be able to catch it in time. But the dragoons are on the run. They're down to 34 men. So how many have they lost? They've lost about 12. Meanwhile, this one's lost about 9, and this one 5. Yeah, so the dragoons are a pretty elite cavalry unit. Even surrounded, they've still inflicted more casualties than the lancers. But now that they're being run down, they're probably going to take more damage than is really necessary. Ooh, some shots from the howitzer, I believe. Yes. The 5-inch howitzer focusing the cavalry position. Probably going to affect their morale a little bit. Yeah, and Your Total War Master is going to pull his cavalry back. I think that's a good idea. You don't want to throw your 2 units of cavalry away this early in the battle, because they can definitely come in handy flanking around these elite units of foot guards. But it looks like the 6-pounder horse artillery is safe for the time being, and we also have a unit of foot guards moving over to defend it, and we have some rifles here as well. And the foot guards will definitely be able to form a square, which will impede the cavalry from charging into it in the future. But now Your Total War Master kind of has to make a decision, and it looks like he is moving up with his entire force here. Do have the general's staff away on the flank. And his 6-pounder artillery, interestingly enough, he's not pushing that in to soften up the defense. It's way behind his lines. I would have maybe moved it up. You could see that there's a little bit of a hill here. So if you get it onto this position, start firing down onto those foot guards. You're going to want to inflict some casualties into them before getting into range, because they're really, really solid. The only thing your Total War Master has going for him right now is the fact that he has so many units. So basically 2 units of musketeers will be shooting this unit of foot guards. They're all 120, which is good. And interesting left, looks like we have the rifles moving forwards. Now, your Total War Master didn't bring any light infantry either, so CEVIX definitely has the range over here of his rifles. Probably going to put them to good use. The Lancer's kind of waiting in the trees. And I'm surprised, man, those Dragoons are must be really solid cavalry. As I said, I think they are melee infantry, because I think they have swords. Yeah, I think they are pretty much heavy melee cavalry. But they actually came out of that fight not too bad, and they managed to save the cannon as well. And how we look in here. Oh, yeah, some huge hits from the howitzer there. You can see the morale dropping from that musketeer unit. 6 men dead in that one shot. So yeah, your Total War Master really needs to close the gap here. He needs to get his infantry moving quickly. But if he draws up his center here in front of the foot, the musketeers are just going to melt. Ooh, another good hit right there. 3 dead on that musketeer unit. We got the general staff moving over to this flank. Yeah, they're like getting point blank. Well, not really point blank, but it's just a clear line of fire into the musketeers here. He's got to watch the general staff too. I've seen a lot of gen sniping in this tournament here, which again, I guess it's a valid strategy. It isn't against the rules. But yeah, that general staff is definitely in range of the 6-inch howitzer. Cavalry pushing heavily onto the flanks there. Yeah, so still hitting the musketeers. But it looks like the Dragoons are kind of drawing back behind enemy lines. I think that's a good idea. You can use it more as a supporting unit and also guarding the rear of your line. And the rifles here have their stakes out as well, so that's going to give them added defense if your Total War Master does decide to charge into them. Looks like the horse artillery is actually, it's limbered up, but I'm interested to see if he's going to unlimber in front of his lines like that. And these rifles need to be careful. They're kind of, they could be outflanked here. They're in a good position to fire down on the musketeers. But yeah, there we go. You can see that the general's actually being hit by the howitzer. I'll turn on the mini-map so you can see that your Total War Master is very slowly and methodically surrounding the British troops. He definitely has enough men for that. And it looks like the rifles are firing, so getting some harass off on the musketeers. Already almost 20 men lost in that one unit. Yeah, the Prussian Fusiliers pushing heavy on the flanks. And it looks like we do have the rifles firing over here as well as the musketeers get into range. Interested to see if the foot guard's going to be in range soon. Yes, it looks like they are. So the musketeers have barely formed up, and CEVIX is already getting some nice shots off on the musketeers. Yeah, look at the morale of the musketeer unit over here dropping down to half strength already. Ooh, this is not good. Looks like his center may actually collapse here before the battle has even really begun. He's got his lancers over on the flanks, though. Rifles are going to have to pull back behind the stakes. Well done there. These rifles are in range of the Prussian Fusiliers, so they're getting absolutely slaughtered. And it looks like the foot guards slowly moving back, but getting some good shots in their backs as they do retreat to a more advantageous position. Over here as well, 73 out of 120 for the foot. Just the amount of guns that are firing onto this one unit, that's where CEVIX is going to struggle. But yeah, this center is absolutely collapsed. And looks like the Dragoons have already broken, so I wonder if the Prussian Fusiliers got into range there. Where is the... Yeah, so here we go. The Lancers now free to come in. We do have the 6-pounder horse artillery that is kind of exposed. Also the general staff as well. Prussian Fusiliers moving forwards. We've got the Musketeers claiming the stake line. Oh, he needs to pay attention to his cavalry, though, and get them into this horse artillery. Now CEVIX has pushed up a unit of foot guards, which is going to be able to defend. And look at this. Yep, perfect. So he's going to form square just in time as the Lancers charge in. And yeah, there we go. He might as well pull these Lancers out right away because the square formation is going to absolutely decimate this cavalry. We do have the Prussian Fusiliers very close by, though, so hopefully they can lend some support and defeat those foot guards. Let's see what's happening on the other side. Yeah, so CEVIX is losing quite a bit of men. Unfortunately, his foot guard's down to 40. It's just, look at, there's 3 units basically firing onto this 1 unit. So yeah, the foot guards are good, but quantity matters in this game. At least I've found. Because it's not how good your units are, but how many guns you have firing at one time. So your Total War Master, he's got like 4 units over here, a good 400 or 500 men fighting, what, 1 unit here of foot guards. Looks like they are going to charge into melee, though, and try and drive back the Prussian Fusiliers. Nice job. Oh, but they broke right away. That's got to be frustrating for CEVIX. And yes, actually, so it looked like the United Kingdom was going to hold on here with relative ease when the center broke there for your Total War Master, but now the English are just completely surrounded. This unit of foot is still very healthy, 120 men in the unit. They are going to be getting some good shots off on the Prussian Fusiliers. Looks like Musketeers are breaking from the battlefield, but we have another unit of Fusiliers flanking this unit of depleted foot. General staff kind of caught in a crossfire now as the Prussians close in from both sides. Let's see how these guys are faring. I mean, they've got a really good position, but there's just too many enemies at this point. Too many guns firing, and not enough firing in return. And there we go. That unit of foot has shattered. It's pretty much down to the general and this 1 unit of foot. It's besting the Prussian Fusiliers here, though, in a 1v1 fight. But there we go. The general has broken, and that probably will signal the defeat for CEVIX. And the first victory for your Total War Master and his Prussian force. I believe this is... Oh, actually, really? So he lost his general. Where is his general? I don't see it anywhere. So it must have been one last shot from CEVIX's artillery that killed the general. Yeah, here he is. Retreating with only 2 men. So it looks like the Prussians did lose their general, but they still won the battle. And by a long shot as well. Just so many Prussian units still left on the battlefield. And I don't see any more of the English. Yes, so there we go. CEVIX, only 939 men. Whereas your Total War Master bringing 1,300. So had a good number of men more than CEVIX in that battle. Let's see who got the most kills. We got 57 here by the Musketeers. Really good. 91 Musketeers. 99 Fusiliers. And 104. So let's go ahead and take a look at their naval battle next. Alright guys, welcome to the next battle between your Total War Master and CEVIX, and we've got an excellent matchup here in today's naval battle, the United Kingdom being played by your Total War Master, and France being played by CEVIX. Let's take a look at their army comps as they do move forwards here. Looking at your Total War Master's forces first, he's got the Mary Rose and the Sirius for the rocket ships, and then he's brought a lot of the Razzies, I hope is how you pronounce it. We've got the Frolic, the Centurion, the Randolph, the Cyan, the Caesar, the Epivier, and then we've got the irresistible 38-gun 5th right there, and the Admiral's flagship, the St. Albans, 106 gun first rate. And the rocket ships are firing down onto the French bomb catches here. We've got the Ocean, the Heros, or Hero. Then we have a brig, the Mont Blanc. And we have the Chlorine, a 74-gun ship of the line. We've got some more smaller ships here, some carronade frigates. We've got the Belle Puy and the Orient. More 74-gun ships of the line, the Sans-Culotte, the Mutiny, which is the Admiral's flagship, which is a 122-gun ship of the line. And then we have the Espérance, the 74-gun ship of the line. But here we go. We've got some huge fire from the Admiral's flagship of France going after the Epivier, taking a good amount of damage there. But the French are very spread out here. It looks pretty good. We've got the rocket ships way back here being well defended by two of the Rezzies. And, of course, the Admiral's flagship for Great Britain. Now, we've got the Randolph kind of moving forwards here, but he's not really in a good position to attack the 74-gun ship of the line and the brig. Now he is turning into position. Hopefully he doesn't really bother himself with the brig. It's not really going to be that big of a deal. Looks like the bomb catches are pulling back out of the range of the rocket ships. And CEVIX, well done. They're actually firing into the rocket ships, trying to get them off the battlefield. These two we have seen in this tournament can get a lot of, not really kills, because you don't really kill ships, but they can sink a lot of ships. The rocket ships are really, really good. Bomb catches as well, though. But here we go. We've got a really nice line, so your Total War Master is just mirroring CEVIX in his line. We've got a huge volley here, but unfortunately all of it landing short. And it looks like the French column is going to turn around and maybe follow your Total War Master's ships in their line. Rocket ship trying to fire onto that brig, but unfortunately just short. And then we've got some rear cannon fire here onto the rocket ships. A couple of them meeting their mark, which is good. But we've got the Centurion and the Frolic over here to defend the rocket ships. The Admiral's flagship is kind of just sitting behind here. It's not really doing too much. But good volleys over here onto the carronade frigate, the Orient. Or the Orient. And let's see how things turn out here. If we turn on the minimap, you can see that the French ships are actually quite divided here. So I'm not sure if that's a good strategy to have his ships divided, because that could mean that the United Kingdom could focus down just these 4 ships quickly, and it'll take these ships a long time to come to their aid. Meanwhile, though, it looks like we have a stand here from the Irresistible and the Epivier. And we've also got the Caesar coming in as well to maybe slow these ships down. Oh no, it looks like most of them are turned around. Interesting. And we've got the Centurion over here. It looks like he's going to try to fire onto the brig, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to. That's a pretty far distance. We got the rocket ships, too, maybe focusing these bigger ships, especially the Admiral's flagships here, the Mutiny. The Espérance taking a bit of damage there from some volleys. And yeah, CEVIX it's almost like he's pulling these units away. He's pulling these ships out of the way to keep them out of the fight. But here we go, CEVIX having a nice long line, and none of your Total War Master's ships are in position to fire back should they come under fire. Yeah, here we go, some huge shots ripping into the Epivier. And I'm seeing the Admiral's flagship firing now. Yeah, they're just going to absolutely destroy this 38-gun 5th rate. It's a very small ship. Yeah, so they've taken some damage for sure. Oh, it looks like we got the Frolic over here that's going to be cutting the line of French ships off. We've also got the Randolph and the Centurion closing in, but all the while being under fire. So the rocket ships are kind of left to their own devices. They don't really have anything that's defending them. The Admiral's flagship is over here, but it'll take quite some time for it to come to the aid of the rocket ships. And it looks like the Randolph focusing down the French Admiral's flagship here. And we've got the bomb catches over here. They're kind of out of this fight, though. They would need to be a little bit more close to be effective. But yeah, there we go. Huge hits on that brig. I'm surprised that it didn't surrender with that volley. Oh, it is routing. And your Total War Master is going to try and repair the Frolic. It has taken some damage, but now we've got the Mutant A coming right in behind. It'll probably get some pretty big volleys onto that ship while it is in repair mode. And how we looking here? Yeah, still going after the smaller ships here. Your Total War Master focusing down the Belle Puy and the Orient, or the Orient, the two carronade frigates. All the while, his ships are actually a little bit too tightly packed together. The Centurion has actually surrendered at this point, so that is not good. The balance of power is still very even, though, maybe just out of favor of your Total War Master and in favor of CEVIX. The ship moving around the flank here. Ooh, yeah, good volleys, though, by the Randolph. Good returns from the Chlorine onto the Frolic, who is still trying to repair, but actually it looks like they are on fire now. Not sure if they're going to be able to put that out. Oh, and the brig is actually returned from routing and in face of the rocket ships. Oh, but it looks like he may have fired the wrong side. But if this little brig can take out 2 rocket ships, he will be the MVP of this battle. And was that an explosion on this ship? Not sure. There's a lot of smoke coming up off it. And the 2 carronade frigates are routing from the battlefield. However, we do have the Irresistible, which is sinking. Volleys onto the brig. This actually might rout it completely. Yeah, it is surrendered. But he did manage to rout one of the rocket ships, and it's going to rout right into the way of the Chlorine 74-gun ship of the line. Oh, come on, get a volley off on this rocket ship. Oh, yes! Yeah, that is surrendered. And the other rocket ship is routing as well. Oh, and this ship is completely engulfed in flames. The Centurion has surrendered at this point. I'm not going to zoom in too close because I expect it to blow up. There we go. No sound effect with that, though, which is interesting. I'm wondering if that explosion has pushed the Frolic to surrender, though. So it's not looking good for you, Total War Master. He's got 3 ships here, which are pretty healthy. He's also got this one as well, and his Admiral. Meanwhile, the French over here, they've got their little ships kind of still sailing around. The bomb catches are very much alive. And actually, it's still pretty close. Very close. Got the carronade frigate, which I believe is wavering. Hasn't routed yet, though. And I'm wondering if the bomb catches, are they firing? I'm assuming they would be with their mortars. And it looks like the Mary Rose rocket ship has returned from routing. And actually, they may fire onto the bomb catch. Oh, no! Point-blank shots right into the Chlorine there. And there we go, the Randolph, yeah, I think we have seen, has surrendered. There we go. That's the sound effect we're looking for. Huge explosion as the Frolic sinks beneath the waves. So we've got the Epivier, the Caesar, and the Cyan, and the St. Albans, which are still left. But the French ship's just doing this really nice circle over here, so clearly CEVIX knows what he's doing in naval battles. He would probably beat me in a 1v1 for sure. The carronade frigate has surrendered completely now. And still trying to fire onto the Mary Rose. Yeah, he's turning around the Chlorine. Hopefully our Total War Master can get some shots with the rocket ship before this ship does fire on him. Or maybe not. Looks like he's actually just leaving it be. Here's the bomb catch, though. I'm not sure what it's firing on. It looks like it's firing on this ship for some reason. I mean, it's already surrendered, though, so I don't know why he's going after that. There we go. Some good hits onto the Cyan. Hopefully, yep, good return. Kind of. Just hitting the front of the ship. Yeah, so this, again, still very close, just out of favor for your Total War Master. We've got a couple of ships that are colliding into each other here. CEVIX needs to spread them out. But yeah, the Admiral's flagship taking on 2 ships at once, hitting the Cyan and the Caesar as well, and getting some shots off from the Chlorine into the Cyan. What is this firing at? It's actually firing at the bomb catch. Okay. And we've got your Total War Master here with the Mary Rose, kind of just nudging it into range of the other British ships. Rockets being fired out as well. Hopefully he can set this ship on fire. Nice! Oh, right on the deck. Well done. Well done. Another ship just exploded there. I think that was one of the rocket ships, if I'm not mistaken. And the Randolph is about to explode as well. We've got the Carronade frigate here. What's this bomb catch doing way over here? I think it's way out of range. There we go. Another ship sinking. But it's still pretty much your Total War Master still has more ships, I do believe. Oh, never mind. No, these 2 ships over here, I forgot about them. So it's pretty evenly matched. There's 4 ships versus 4 ships, basically. But I think a good volley from the French Admiral is going to rout this ship here. Yeah, they've taken quite a few casualties. And we got a 1v1 here between the Chlorine and the Caesar. Yeah, and the Cyan has routed at this point. And there we go, CEVIX finally splitting these 2 ships off to return them to the battlefield. Hopefully one of them can do some damage to the English Admiral's flagship, who hasn't really taken much damage. Then again, I guess neither has the French Admiral's flagship. Bomb catches coming back into the battle. We've got another Carronade frigate coming back into the battle. And now it's starting to slip into CEVIX's favor after the Cyan has surrendered. So it looks like he will turn the attention of the Mutineer onto the Caesar, which is taking shots from 2 ships right now. Your Total War Master firing on the bomb catch. It's a good idea to get rid of them early if he can. Nice job! Yes, he did actually destroy that bomb catch, going up with a huge explosion there. And actually clawing back some of the balance of power there, so well done. And what is the Mutineer doing? Is he just going to shoot this one, maybe? I'm not sure. The Admiral's flagship for England needs to get into this battle, though. He needs to start going after these smaller ships. He could easily sink the Chlorine if he wanted to. One good volley, I think, would have that ship surrender. But the French Admiral's flagship just doing huge amounts of damage to these smaller ships here. The Caesar is now on fire, and it is wavering. Yeah, kind of clipping it there. But surely, yeah, the Chlorine is going to make it rout. Yes. So that is routing. Actually, it's surrendered completely. And even though this ship is surrendered, I'm wondering if CEVIX is just going to volley it and rid it from the battlefield completely, or is he just going to ignore it? Oh, here we go. Nice shots there. And finally, the Admiral's flagship getting involved, hitting the Chlorine. They have taken quite a bit of casualties, though. And return volleys onto the St. Albans. Are these ships still way out here? Yeah, I think he's forgotten about this bomb catch, to be honest, unless it is moving. Oh, yeah, it's, well... No, I think it's just kind of sitting there. Maybe it's out of ammunition. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, but this ship is going to explode very soon. Hopefully it won't hit the Admiral there. No, it looks like it was far enough away. And the Caesar over here we have is surrendered, so it's pretty much only these 2 ships left. The Admiral's flagship and the FEVA. We got the Belle Pluie just sailing right in the way of the Admiral. Not sure if he's going to try and stop it in its tracks or not. Yeah, it only has 8 guns left. No, it looks like it's just going to sail. Oh, is it routing? Oh, it's routing. That's why. Okay, fair enough. And the Admiral is kind of turning around. Doesn't look like he wants to go 1v1 with the French Admiral. So let's see. He's got 300 crew members versus 333. Another huge explosion there. We've got 102 guns versus 111. So, I mean, they're pretty evenly matched, I would say. But the problem is now that there's too many other ships. Oh. Yeah, not a bad volley there. And the FPVA over here is about to get a mouthful of cannonballs here from the Saint-Quillo. And the chlorine as well. There we go, it's shaken. Ooh, no. Let's see if we can get a volley off onto the French ship. Oh, no, it's actually going over here towards the Esperance. But yeah, that's made it surrendered for sure. There we go. And it's pretty much just the Admiral's flagship at this point. Oh no, and a miss volley there, unfortunately. Where is he firing to? Oh, and the Admiral's flagship is on fire at this point. You can hear the little fire bell going on. Ooh. I believe there is the Admiral with a few of his men still on board the ship. And is that the bomb catch firing at him? Not too sure. Yeah, it looks like actually the bomb catch is firing from here, so they've got some pretty good range. Not sure if they're going to get another volley or not onto the Admiral's flagship. But I could already see smoke starting to rise. There we go. So let's see if any of these hit. Oh, yeah, look. Oh, yes, definitely hitting the side of the Admiral's flagship. Setting it alight almost immediately. And is one of the masts coming down as well? I'm hearing some cracking. Come on, boys, put it out. Put that out. Look at this guy over here. He's just like stamping the flames. Oh, another volley coming in here. Oh, that is not good. It's shaken. Another explosion from the bomb catch right over top. Oh, it's trying to repair. That's what it's doing. Oh, and they did put out the fire. Well done to your Total War Master. Keeping his general in the fight just a little bit longer, or his admiral, sorry. But, I mean, they've only got 82 guns left, 200 crew members. Taking huge amounts of volleys from the French Admiral, which is still very healthy. And the other French ship's kind of just moving in behind. Yep, getting volleys on it as it tries to move into position. I think it's just staying parallel with the French general or French admiral trying to take it out. But another fire starts on the deck. Oh, man. That is frustrating. And actually, it looks like it is routing. And there we go. So, well done to CEVIX, actually forcing a third battle. And that is the first time that we've had a tiebreaker that needs to be shown. So 10 ships here, 9 losses, unfortunately. CEVIX only having 9 ships, but only losing 3 in return. Let's see who got the most kills. It looks like the Epivier. Yeah, it was doing pretty well in the center of that battle. So let's go ahead and head back to the land battle and take a look at that one next. Alright guys, welcome to the third and final battle between your Total War Master and CEVIX, and you can see that CEVIX, playing as Prussia, is quickly sending his units in against your Total War Master and his French forces. Huge charge there against the Chassé, but the second unit of Chassé will be able to fire into the flank of the Prussian cavalry. And yes, it looks like we do have another unit of Lancers that will eliminate this unit of Chassé, though, as long as these units of Lancers can hold. We do have the Dragoons from France over on this flank. So basically there was 2 units of Chassé from the French and also 2 units of Lancers versus the Lützow Freikorps and the Lancers of Prussia, 2 units there. And it looks like they are pushing to the General's bodyguard, but I don't know if they're going to make it. Yeah, he's really trying to push forwards to get the General involved in melee. This early in the battle, this is crazy. We also have a unit of National Guard over here from the French, which could help in this situation, but it looks like CEVIX losing all of his cavalry there, unfortunately. Let's take a look at what else he has here. He's just got basically 9 units of musketeers, very, very long line, and he's got 2 units of 7-pound howitzer and his general. These 2 units of musketeers over here getting absolutely slaughtered by the 2 units of Chassé on this side. So your Total War Master having 2 units on either side of the Chassé, totaling 4. He also has many units of Fusiliers of the Line, about 7 units of them. And then he has some National Guard over there as well. But yes, 2 units of Dragoons and the 2 units of Chassé. I believe the 1 unit of Chassé might have routed, but he does have the second one still alive. And unfortunately, Prussia losing the Lützow Freikorps and the 2 units of Lancers early on. Over here on this flank, too, it's not looking good for him. Both his units of Musketeers really struggling against the Chassé here. Looks like they're going to try and reform, but as the Musketeers retreat, they're just going to get volleyed in the back. Yeah, really not looking good for CEVIX at this point, and the firefight has begun. We have the Fusiliers of the Line going toe-to-toe with the Musketeers. We do have the Howitzer pretty much point-blank firing into the line of the Fusiliers of the Line. So the French, actually, their morale not looking very good, but luckily for your Total War Master playing as France, he has his 2 units of Dragoons, which can easily flank around and hit these Musketeers. I'm not even sure that the Musketeers can do square formation. We'll find out. But just like last time, your Total War Master's center has completely broken. However, on the flanks, he clearly has the upper hand. So CEVIX once again being surrounded. If we take a look at the map, you can see the center breaking, but on either side, the French forces are well on their way to conquering the flanks. Musketeers actually charging into melee against the Chassé, and it looks like they are going to get both units caught in melee. I don't know how long that is going to last, though. I'm not sure if the Chassé are good in melee or not. It looks like they may be overpowered in this instance. The Prussians, that is. But again, having to be really defensive, having to withdraw his lines over and over, all the while being fired upon by the French. And your Total War Master with his cavalry presence here. Yeah, I think it was a big mistake for the aggressive cavalry charge there by CEVIX, because it's really limited his army at this point. Limited his army maneuvers, I should say, because now these 2 units of Musketeers are just being completely surrounded by the French, all the while they could be charged right in the side by the Dragoons, or the Dragoons could go right for the General. There's not much that CEVIX could do to stop him from doing that. We do have Musketeers that have been peeled off from the center, hopefully going to try and defend the General here. Your Total War Master doing a really good job on eliminating these Musketeer units one by one, because as you saw, the Fusiliers of the Line for France losing in a 1-to-1 fight to the Musketeers. Good hits with the howitzers, though. And here we go. Didn't want to miss this, so let's see what the Dragoons are going to do. I don't think they need to charge after that. Okay, so the Musketeers can form square, which is really good to see. We have the French general going in here. Oh, no, it's just moving up, I see. Oh, so the Dragoons were going after routing units. Fair enough. The Musketeers need to get out of square formation, though, because the Fusiliers of the line will be able to form up and fire at them. But look at this. This is almost like a last stand here by CEVIX, creating this little square, trying to defend on all sides from the French cavalry. But all the while, they're just not in a good position to deal with your Total War Master and his French troops. Fusiliers of the line flanking around. The Musketeers, how are they doing? Looks like they're doing well against the Fusiliers of the line over here. So CEVIX might be able to get this flank under control, but it's all dependent on your Total War Master and his cavalry and what he's going to do with it. Over on this flank, though, it's just absolute disaster for CEVIX. Your Total War Master has this flank pretty much under control. Looks like the 3 units of Fusiliers of the line have returned from routing as well. And I see a gap in the howitzer line here. The Musketeers, again, really trying to maneuver to block this cavalry from entering the inner circle, but all the while, as they retreat, they're just being fired upon by the Fusiliers of the line. And yeah, the cavalry's just going in. Although this might be good for CEVIX, because it's in square formation, he might be able to beat both these Dragoons. And then he won't have to worry about the enemy cavalry. But the Dragoons are pretty solid in melee, and unfortunately this flank has just completely broken, leaving the howitzers virtually undefended. These 2 units of Musketeers doing well, though. They're fighting with all they have left. Fighting their hearts out. Looks like the Fusiliers of the line have broken. The Chassés are very depleted over here, so kind of leaves only 1 unit of Fusiliers of the line. The Dragoons, with very low morale, have pulled back from that engagement. And now pretty much the Musketeers are fighting back to back. And the general moving right in against the howitzers. I'm wondering if the Musketeers are going to be able to get a volley off on the general. It doesn't look like it. They just don't have enough men, unfortunately. But looks like the Prussian general is trying to get some work done, running down the Chassés, breaking them. But now he's just going to be volleyed by the Fusiliers of the line as he returns. Is he going to charge into this unit here? The Fusiliers of the line might as well. See if you can break it before they get a volley. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? They're literally gonna just fire on him execution style here. Oh, okay, he does notice. Luckily, your Total War Master was moving his unit. That would have been a disaster, having a volley from the Fusiliers of the line just kill your general there. But I mean, this is still a very close battle. Look at the balance of power. So just barely in your Total War Master's favor. CEVIX is really holding on, considering he's completely outflanked. And somehow this howitzer is still firing point blank on these Fusiliers of the line. But there we go. Yeah, the general has broken at this point. And I think that the Musketeers will follow shortly afterwards. And I think that is the cheer of the Dragoons moving back into melee as well. Oh, but well done to CEVIX, fighting till the very last minute, putting both of his units into square formation, and then this one actually moving in. I'm not sure if it's going to try and go into melee, but unfortunately it does break right away. And this unit here, although he did drive back the 2 units of Dragoons, which is excellent, his 1 unit is not going to be able to defeat all of these French forces. But I would say that this is a much closer battle for CEVIX, so your Total War Master definitely won, but not without casualties, that is for sure. Oh, actually, what do we have here? Oh, we've got one of the 7-pounder howitzer crews. Not sure where they're running to, but I think it's pretty clear that your Total War Master has won here. He's probably just going to send his general to run them down. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. So let's go ahead and fast forward that. There we go. CEVIX turning to face them in melee. There we go. And that is the end of this series of battles, guys. So yeah, closer numbers this time. So it looks like CEVIX only had 200 less. And your Total War Master definitely taking more casualties than last battle. Looking at the kills here, 132 by Fusiliers of the Line. Well done. And yeah, so that is it, guys. So thanks so much for joining CEVIX. I really appreciate it, and well done to your Total War Master. He is moving on to round 2. And thanks so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And I will see you in the next one.